Chris, talk to me a little bit about educating the network that we have on what a SOC is. What makes a good security operations center? What makes a bad SOC? I mean, why should we be looking at SOCs and what do they do for us?
Yeah, so there's two different kinds. Obviously, there's your internal SOC and there's your MSSP type SOC. Either way, what you want to do is you want to continually have them learning, continually looking at things and training them and integrating threat intelligence. If you're outsourcing, you want to make sure they've got appropriate SLAs. You don't want somebody who's necessarily going to have a first in, first out type of ticket, because then when you're in with all those other ones, if you get a critical in your environment and they're working a first in, first out, yours could be below 25 lows. And that's going to delay your time to respond and your time to action. So you want to keep those up. You want to make sure you're working with somebody who has a defined SLA. You want to test that and you want to hold them to it. If you're doing it internally, every once in a while, you want to do the same thing, test their response. You also want to make sure they're tuned, because alarm fatigue will kill any SOC. It leads to burnout, which leads to people not paying attention, which leads to miss alerts, people closing things that are supposed to just be benign, even though they're not, and not seeing the actual attack chain happening.
So let me piggyback on that as well. In what I've seen, and what's interesting to me around security operations centers is a lot of SOCs have come forward saying, hey, this is the great technology that we have, and this is how we're going to make you better. But in my experience, the technology is, it's wind, right? It's just going to blow away eventually with something new. What makes a great SOC other than the technology?
People, the people, their processes. I mean, I've seen a lot of SOCs. I used to work for one. Our motto was people, process, and technology, right? But having well-trained staff, knowledgeable staff, being able to ask them questions and have them answer them effectively and not be like, oh, well, I don't know the answer to that. Let me get back to you. Even though that is an acceptable answer in some cases, you want people that are going to be able to say, yeah, here's what happened, here's what's going on, and relay that information to you in a way that's understandable, efficient, and that you can relay to upper management in the case that you have to raise the red flag for an incident.